Alright guys, what's going on? Needs more drums back in City Skylines. Today for something a little bit different. We're in our normal city of Percusion. However, instead of doing a big build episode, I'm actually going to be doing a little tutorial, so to speak. So not a long episode, just want to share some tips and tricks with you about building some T interchanges, T-junctions, whatever you want to call it. So this is what we have here. And I recently upgraded some of the highways in the city off camera, but anyway. So the first thing that you want to do when building a T interchange is consider where you want kind of the main highway to sit, and then where your alternative I guess destination is going to be. So what I mean by that is, our main highway is probably going to be following this path here, because this is the way into the city, and then this is the way to the neighboring connection. Whereas this highway here is more of just like a kind of a bypass road. So this one's not really the priority in terms of diverting a lot of traffic here. We just want to make sure, if anything, if you're trying to decide a number of lanes, which one's going to have the most traffic. I bet it's going to be this one. But either way, we're working with 2-lane highways here, and this one's a 3-lane, but I'll explain that in a minute. But yeah, so for now, let's just go ahead and we want to drag out, connect these 2 points up. All right, so that's a good start for now. And of course, we do have move it and everything, so we're gonna have this looking really good by the time we're done. But now, so we want to make sure that you're not missing any connections. So that's always kind of the hard part with interchanges, is making sure that all of your roads that you need to be connected are actually connected, because there are times where I've built one and then I go, oh wait, I have 3 out of the 4 connections that I need, or something, I missed one. So the first one that I want to connect is I want to make sure that people can come inbound to the city and connect to this bypass road here. So we're gonna do that kind of off of this little node here. And so now I can just come across like that and connect it up right there. So there's our first connection. And then the second connection that I want to make is making sure that people can go from this road to inbound to the city, coming off of this little bypass road here. So I'm going to actually drag this out this way. And I'll, again, with move it and everything, we'll fix up all the heights and stuff later. All right, and it's nice because we have a lot of space here too, so we have some room to work. So that's good for that. And now I want to make sure that people going out of the city can choose to get onto this bypass road going this way. So I just want to make a connection like so. And typically with overpasses like this, you're going to have 3 levels. You're going to have your ground, your lowest level, where usually the main road is going to sit. And then you're going to have, you need to make 2 kind of crossovers over the main road. And obviously they can't be at the same level. So picking which one I want to be the highest, it kind of just depends on how much room that I have to work with. So I think in this case, I think this one is actually going to be the highest, because I have all this room to come up here and then all this room to come down over here. So I'm going to actually go ahead and elevate this even, more than it is already. And again, like building in vanilla, it's kind of difficult sometimes unless you really know what you're doing and planning everything out to get everything just right without using move it. So we're going to use move it a little bit later. Yeah, so that's the connection there. And then I can also go back later too and change some of these connections up. So that's good for that. And now this one, I just want to make sure that I have all my connections before I start editing heights. And so this one, I'm actually gonna, I think I need to go back and raise this one up a little bit more. And then this is just gonna come straight out here. And then we're gonna bring it up over this road and come across like so. And actually, since we moved this connection out, I'm actually going to bump this one out a little bit too, because I think it just looks a little better when they're all a little more symmetrical. So that's Good. All right, so now that I have all my connections, you know, that's the most important part, is making sure that everybody can get every way. So we have a connection going here, and then we have a connection going here, so they can go access both sides of the main highway. Then we have off of the main highway, we have a connection going here, and then this connection coming off here, so both sides can access this, you know, bypass other highway that we're going to. So that's good for now. Now it's you know, I highly recommend doing this with Move It if you don't have Move It. I know building interchanges like this can take a lot more planning and it could be quite difficult. So the first thing I want to do is set kind of the height of my main highway. So we have this bridge over the river that I want to keep a little bit elevated. So I think I'm just going to have, this is sort of my, I want to find my high point for these, which I'm actually going to raise these up a little bit, because if I want to bring this road underneath, going to need some room for a truck clearance. So I think that's going to be the height of my main highway. Now we can come across like and just grab all of the nodes, and I'm actually going to slope down to that node there. So now that's the height that we're actually working with here. And as you can see, you know, some of these roads need to be a lot higher, but then again, that is what Move It is for, so no worries there. And I'm actually going to do the same thing just to make sure that both of my start and end are the same height on my main road here, and then do the same thing on this side. Just take the nodes and we're going to match, we're going to do a slope all the way down. So now these two should be the same height, and I say that looks pretty good. And now we can start using Move It to kind of work with this space and make it look a whole lot better. So the first thing that we got to do is raise up this. Actually, you know what we can do too? Nah, that'll be like right in the water. We're not going to do that. We're going to raise it up. So in this case, we're actually going to bring this. This is going to be our second level. We're going to bring this over until we think we have enough clearance, which it looks like, I'd say that's probably pretty good. So yeah, that'll look quite nice. And of course, we're gonna, you know, do a nice slope down. So coming from our highest point, this is actually gonna go down to here. Then I would just take our highest point, slope it down, and we have a nice even transition. And of course, with this, you know, we're gonna even this out a little bit, make it look actually like a real road and not ridiculous. So that's good. Cool. So that side's pretty much done for now, and we'll, you know, we can fine tune it later. But this is kind of the most important part. So now that that is done, now I want to adjust the height of this road. So this one is going to be quite high because we have to go over the higher overpass. So actually I might need a little bit more room for this to come down here. So I might actually have to extend this out a bit, which is totally fine. I would say that's some pretty good clearance there. So I'm going to go ahead and sort of match all my heights. And this is actually, I actually don't need the clearance there anymore, so I can actually drag this out and bring it down a little bit here. Now that we're over that other overpass, especially this one can start to come down already. And one thing I like to do to make sure that I get, you know, kind of the most height is have a node closest to the entrance of the ramp, but then the other ones, you know, can kind of be a little bit more of a longer distance. Oh, and I didn't even realize this wasn't even at the right height. So yeah, so now that even makes that slope less steep now that we have that. So we can just slope like that. Bring this node out to even it up a little bit. Perfect. Now this one needs to come down. So we need a little bit more room, I think, here, because that's a pretty steep slope that we have to work with here. So what we're gonna do is kind of go back to the drawing board here and drag this out just maybe one more tile there. And now we can have this road connect over here. And of course, we'll fix this up like this. know what, I actually think there's probably supposed to be a post right here. So if I move this out of the way, I bet it could fit. Oh, I'm not going to actually move it that far, but I bet it could fit one in here somehow. Because it definitely needs it. That's quite a long distance to go without any sort of support. So I'll put one maybe on the side here as soon as I get this in the right spot. That looks pretty good like that. Now for the sake of realism, I can go ahead and add another post or a pillar right there just to make sure that that has the right support. Good. All right. Now those connections are pretty good, I would say. You know, it's not perfect, but you could spend literally hours detailing an interchange and trying to make all of the slopes perfect and all of the nodes line up just right. So yeah, I prefer to not spend a ton of time. You know, I do have node controller and all that. So am I going to detail it up a little bit? Maybe, but I'm not going to spend an absurd amount of time just detailing my interchange because I feel like that's just sometimes it just gets to be too much. I mean, you could, like I said, you could spend hours making sure everything looks so perfect, but this is on the outskirts of the city, so who's really even going to know? Probably just me, and I don't really care, so good enough. Making a nice even slope there. And you know what? I think, nope, forgot about this part here. Yeah, that needs this needs some work. And there we go. That is just about it. So now we have a fully functioning T interchange. Looks very, very nice in the grand scheme of our city. I know it's a little big, but you know what? This is an area with a lot of space. We have a lot of space to work with, and so we can make this, you know, a very high-speed interchange where, you know, people don't really need to slow down. There's no tight bends or anything. Let me just get rid of this pillar here so that people don't actually crash into it. We wouldn't want that. That would be a major design flaw, but that's okay. Figured it out. And yeah, so now we have this really nice full interchange here that is functional and high speed, and this is actually really good because our landfill's right over here, so we can have our garbage trucks get into the city really easily. That just about concludes this quick little tutorial slash build episode. So if you liked the video, please leave a like and comment, subscribe for more content, and if you want to follow the build of the city, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So stay tuned for the next episode, but in the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed this little tutorial. Have a good rest of your week, and peace out.